All right, we are live. I would like to welcome everybody to the crossover, the first broadcast on YouTube of the crossover live. Today is Thursday, May 8th, and shout out to Mo who claimed first in the chat. So here's the deal. People who watch on YouTube, unlike Instagram, can go back and start the broadcast from fresh. So people can join 15 minutes in, they can back it up, they can watch from the beginning, and I think some people will be doing that. So with that said, all right, let me do what I always do when we start the crossover, Josh, and say, what's up? How are you?
Are you worried that people now know what we actually sound like?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big drop off after people finally get a clear glimpse of this nasally soprano that I trumpet.
Like 2 minutes in, they're like, can we get back to the crappy phone audio so I don't have to hear you guys?
At least then they could imagine. So the first thing today on the crossover is mail days. Do you have a mail day? No.
I bought a card last Monday.
Okay.
And it's still en route.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that's in the pipeline?
Well, yeah, because it has to go to PSA first and then make its way to me eventually.
Because you used PSA as like buy an eBay and
eBay.
Trade?
eBay has to authenticate a PSA card over a certain dollar amount.
Yeah, okay.
Which is great and terrible at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I won another auction 2 days ago.
On eBay as well?
Yeah.
Does that one have to go through authentication too?
It's too cheap. It's a Todd Gurley. He's terrible.
Let's go. I saw somebody, Collectorgram, I think, sent me an IG hype post for Todd Gurley that says since 2015 he still has the second most rushing touchdowns.
It's third. It's third.
Third. Okay.
I think it's Henry and then Zeke Elliott.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. People send me those every once in a while. I'm like, dude, he hasn't played in 5 years or whatever.
Yeah. Still.
Do you have a mail day?
No. But I'm also in a pipeline too.
Okay. This is a pipeline story.
Yeah. Yeah. We're both in pipelines right now. My pipeline is closer. So the story behind my mail day was it was purchased on Card Hobby. I purchased it using Fund Your Cards, Mark. It finally made it stateside into a vault, and I'm just completing payments on it, and then it's going to be relinquished into my possession via shipping. So hopefully maybe even next week. I don't know. Week or two, it should be here.
I'm still getting used to your studio quality voice. So give me a few minutes here. Are you reading the chat? It seems like HB said, finally I can browse eBay and watch the crossover. That's a big underrated part of this, because if you're on an IG live, you're kind of stuck, because you know how like some apps you can put them in the background and keep going, audio and video, like YouTube. You can't with IG live, so that's big.
Yeah, and the computer components of it, or the multiple devices. Like on Instagram, you can't watch us live, I don't think, on a device other than your phone, basically. Yeah,
correct. And we're not going to know who anybody is in the chat because their names are typed in differently.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure it out.
I think we know who this guy is, though.
We do know who this guy is. It took 4 years, but you guys finally got a new mic. It's actually been 5. So who's counting? We are somewhere right around the 5-year anniversary. Ruben's got us on a 75-inch 8K TV.
Dude, let's go.
I would scale that down.
What do you think that's an OLED TV?
What the hell is an OLED TV again? I'm sorry.
Dude, we should just start presenting ChatGPT screen shares like immediately.
Yeah. I think we need to get started on one of those. Do you have one ready?
I'm in hold on. Yes, I will.
I have 2 screens going, and sometimes I get confused about which one I should be paying attention to. And I was just cramming my mouse all the way to the left. This is going to take some focus here.
Did you tell everybody you're now on you're on a Mac? You're trying to get used to the Mac?
Yeah, I am on a Mac. Apologies for having to actually see my decrepit face. Mo claims he's got us on a 120-inch projector screen, but I don't know.
Are you on the Mac camera or you're on a separate camera?
I'm on the Max camera. Christopher S wants to know, does Kenny G know how to join a YouTube stream? We would have to send him the link. So he would have to message me and then I would have to feed him in. Look, everybody's got us on the big screen, noticing how ugly I am in high resolution. If I can get really crafty here, I might not even need to write down the titles on my pen and pad anymore because I can just star what Stiff says.
Oh, so you can star past comments and then filter by that. Oh, starred. Look at that.
Yeah,
dude. Exactly. Our technology game is like,
this is insane.
Yeah, we're like on an OLED TV now.
I was wanting to send a shout out here to Wyatt Burbrink, no relation to Burbank Sports Cards, who says he was the first on the first YouTube live, which he was. So let's preserve that in history. Okay, we have a lot of questions to get to. Do you have a Chat GPT screen share for me, or should we just keep rolling here?
Just keep rolling. I'll integrate an OLED joke again, and then I'll have it ready.
Perfect. I can't wait for that. All right, so something else I'm going to try out here so that you can actually see the questions too, and you don't just have to like try and very closely pay attention to what I'm saying. I am going to share a screen. By the way, there is a secret entity waiting backstage who might flash in and out. You just never really know. So that's something to keep the audience on the edge. There is somebody waiting in the background to just come in and out, and you will not know who it is. Okay, so this is my first attempt to screen share something, and it is not an inappropriate picture that I was sending to somebody. It is the right thing. I've shared the right thing, which is the list of questions. Now you guys kind of get to see what that looks like a little bit. Let's go. Let's get this thing rolling with the first question from the Cardfather 13, who says, Sundar Pichai is Google's CEO in case you have an issue on YouTube and you need to complain.
That's hilarious.
Did you know that?
I wouldn't have been able to tell you that, but now that you've said it, that sounds familiar. I think he's just immediately getting on the train of us making fun of Zuck, and he's ready to hand off the baton.
Yeah, but that's good to know. We may need to call him out preemptively.
We should.
Sundar, you are on our radar.
Yeah, this is a trial run. Actually, he didn't. People may not know that, but we will drop this on a dime if need be.
This is like, so every year at the National, not that there's anything wrong with this, somebody comes up to one of us and is like, sell me on Card Letter, convince me to subscribe to Card Letter. Why are you guys better than whatever? And, it's like, all right, let me, and it's just like this challenge. It's like, all right, let me get my elevator pitch ready and like really wow this guy, and it never goes well. It's always a lot of pressure and it's awkward. That's the position that we are putting Sundar in. Sundar, you need to win our business, buddy. Make your elevator pitch right now for why we shouldn't ditch you for DuckDuckGo. How about that?
DuckDuckGo.
Okay, that's an alternative. All right, let's go to the next one here. From Tasty Card Sandwich. For the people who are new to this show on the YouTube community, we warm up with lightweight questions before we get to the big ones. Tasty Card Sandwiches. What is the professional sports comp to the crossover exercising their free agency rights to leave the team that drafted and developed them for a bigger market? Is this the sports card content version of The Decision? Is it Durant to Golden State? Is it Tom Brady to Tampa Bay? Is it Christian McCaffrey to San Francisco? Is Zuck going to pen an angry letter in Comic Sans declaring that Meta will win a title before YouTube?
I feel like it has to be one where we are defiant to the organization at the top. Like some example where the player was pissed off at the owner, like Jimmy Butler to Miami's ownership. I think it's the Jimmy Butler one.
That's perfect.
And we left for Google, Steph Curry. It's the Bay Area. It's perfect.
Nice. Let's go. Okay. We are on to a great start when we're getting Jimmy Butler comps. Jimmy Butler in Golden State. Can Jimmy Butler win this series without Curry?
I don't think so.
Yeah. We're going to have to see. All right.
That team looked cooked.
Yeah. Someone looked even more cooked last night. So what do you know? NYC Hoops Collector says, which lower seed. Oh, by the way, I got one comment from somebody, and I was just like waiting for this to come. The comments was stop talking about sports and just get back to talking about cards. Yep. And I had to reply, dude, I'm sorry, but we're excited about talking about the NBA playoffs, and we probably will be for at least maybe one more week or two. So just bear with us if you hate this, and just understand this is like taking your medicine. And then you get to we always get to the card questions a little bit, but I like to open up with the sports talk. This one from NYC Hoops Collector, who says, which lower seed has the best chance at completing the upset and advancing to the conference finals?
So that would be the Warriors, Nuggets, Knicks, Pacers.
Yep.
I mean, I outright picked the Pacers, so I'll just stick with them.
Okay.
And do you know the update on the Cavs injuries? I mean, they're already at a major advantage, winning both games on the road, and the Cavs are dealing with injuries.
Yeah, they are in big trouble. The Cavs are just already been down 2-0.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up, let's see if I can just bring something up here that can help us a little bit to discuss this. Okay, so we have FanDuel odds here. Josh went over the series. So we just watched the conclusion of Timberwolves Golden State. Timberwolves now minus 300 to win that series. That's obviously
because I think Curry's out at least another week, and these are all games every other day, so he wouldn't be back till like game 5.
Yeah, Golden State is the underdog there. And then the other West series that we have, OKC and Denver. OKC is even a bigger favorite, minus 550. That's also 1-1 heading back to Denver. So Golden State and Denver both have home court now, but neither one is even close to being favored. In the East, Boston and New York are even.
Wow.
Basically. Talk about that for a second.
I mean, that kind of seems right. Boston's better on the road anyways, and I still think Boston's going to win the series. It feels like they should have won both those games. They're up 20 in both games. There's no way they're going to do that 2 more times.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. Like it doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it.
Well, something that's like that keeps coming up in all these series is that like, the pressure is now on Boston, or the pressure is back on Denver or whatever. Don't you want the pressure to be on you? Like if you're a team who's like, oh, the pressure's on me now, I'm not going to play well. You're not going very far in the playoffs anyway. But the pressure is definitely on Boston, because if they do lose game 3, they're cooked. They are cooked. And then the last series is Indiana and Cleveland. Indiana is minus 200. Indiana is also a lower seed. I agree with you, Josh. Indiana is, I think, the no-brainer there for the team that's going to advance.
I'm sticking with all my picks, though.
Can you refresh us on what those picks are?
Yeah, Pacers, Celtics, Nuggets, Wolves. Those are my picks.
I love those picks.
I haven't seen anything that makes me scared of that. The Nuggets getting blown out, whatever. It's still 1-1.
Yeah. Yep. Still 1-1.
And
Scott Foster can't officiate all the games.
OKC blew out the Grizzlies, and then the next game should have lost. So they were down 30 in the next game.
Yeah. Well, I turned on the Zach Lowe podcast tonight against my better judgment, because he had a local Nuggets guy on who was like helping him break down that series. And one of his comments is like, Oklahoma City should be up 2-0. It's like, okay, buddy.
Should be?
One of the great self-immolations is Zach Lowe. Should be.
Like in a world of simulations, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. From Boomtown Cards. So, maybe go back to hating on Tatum and the Celtics in order to restore order. So
Did we ever leave the Tatum hate train?
No, we did not, but I hit the emergency brake on that train for like a second last week just to sort of acknowledge comments that Boomtown had sent in. Oh, I wanted to take the occasion actually to show Boomtown's Instagram.
Nice.
Because he has been showing off some very cool Tatum cards. Maybe this, honestly, me showing this will complete the jinx and we can all enjoy a total implosion by the Celtics here. So I am going to show his page for a second. This is the first ever instance of showing a collector's page here. Here we go. Okay, so I really thought some of the stuff that he's been posting recently is cool. Tatum collector.
Hey, that's sick.
Yeah. 2023 Prism Black 1 of 1 Tatum. That's a really cool card. 2022 Prism Nebula Tatum.
Yeah, that's sick.
2019 Nebula Tatum. 2023 Black
This
Finite.
was this was the guy that told us to cool it on Tatum.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
2022 Select Courtside 1 of 1 Tatum. 2021
Dang.
Select Courtside 1 of 1 Tatum.
So there's a big difference between us hating the player and like really admiring this PC, right? This is sick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I sometimes wonder if people like get confused or
Right.
troubled by the fact that I will trash their player and their team, and then like they'll post a card and I'll be like, dude, sick.
Yeah, they're like, well, I thought you hated him. Well, the card is sick, dude. You got like a bunch of really nasty Tatum cards. The best story yesterday, I can't remember what the story said, but because I think he took it down, and I don't want to blow him up. But Modest Card Collection, do you know who that is?
Yes, it's not
He's
such
a
a
Nick,
modest collection.
right? Exactly. He's a Knicks fan, but he posted a picture of where Tatum's like turning it over in game 2, and then Brown's losing it to McHale, and it said something like he should get this as a back tattoo. I just thought it was so funny. Tatum notoriously has like the worst back tattoos ever.
Yeah, and plus like Knicks. Why is that?
But I don't know. They're terrible. Like he just thinks he's like Kobe Bryant or something, and he's got all these tattoos.
Knicks fans can get away with trashing the Celtics right now, and it's just not total hatred. It's more, rivalry or antagonism or something.
Right, but they are terrible at home. Just so you know, the Pistons won all of their games in New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So maybe this thing will be 2-2.
And I saw a stat: the Knicks haven't won a closeout playoff game at home in like 6,000 days or something. It's so many years. Yeah.
Who do you want to win that series? Set aside who we think.
The Knicks.
Yeah, we don't talk enough about wanting. Everything is
No.
like supposed to be, this is who I think will win when I'm right.
Sure. I'm rooting for the Knicks, yeah.
Yeah, rooting for the Knicks.
I can tell you who I'm rooting for in all the series. I don't think you even Pacers.
Okay, Pacers. Yeah, my rooting interest is very complicated in the East because if Denver keeps on advancing, I want the shittiest team in the East.
Yeah.
And if Denver loses and like Oklahoma City or Minnesota advances, I want the very best team in the East.
Yeah.
So it's tricky like that.
I do. The Pacers are my favorite team left. I love the Pacers. I love their style of play. I love Halliburton. I love their coaching. I love their offense. I think they're one of the few teams that run a real offense. I just like their team.
Yeah. Yeah. I made a post something or said on one of the crossover episodes that Halliburton is the best American-born player, and from the new crop. And I just feel like that take was not received well.
He has been the best so far this round.
I think he's looked pretty good.
Game winner. That was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Two game winners. He has 2 game winners now.
He's got multiple. Mark says, "Are we christening the YouTube by showing off Tatum cards?"
Dude, this is a show. This is a show of fairness. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So Stiff gave me another potential title, and I started it. And I just hope I'm going to be able to figure out how to go back to these at the end.
I got the stars. I got it.
Okay. Nice.
Yep, I know how to do it.
All right. Let's go to the next question here from Geechee Cards. Geechee Cards. Are there any big picture takeaways from all the upsets, the huge comebacks, and the road wins that have happened so far in the playoffs?
They've been good games, except for these last 2. All close games. The Nuggets game was obviously good with the game winner with 1 second. Both Celtics Knicks games coming down to the wire. The Pacers game, the game winner. They've all been good games.
Good product. Good NBA product.
The scoring is way down, and the shooting is terrible. That's just the playoffs, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Part of it, I think. Also, I just think teams have been shooting like crap.
Yeah.
They've been shooting worse than than expected, even in a playoff setting. Other than that, I think like we still need to let these series play out before we see if these were just a few early upsets before the series went back to the favorites. Okay, let's go to the next question from Jake Sports World. With the WNBA season about to tip off, do you have any urge to chase the rare Prism parallels?
I mean, has the black Caitlin Clark been found yet?
Well, I think she has two. I think she has a well, she has two cards in the base set, and it's confusing because the one that comes later in the base set is a photo shoot staged image, and the one that comes earlier in the base set is an action shot from the game. And people think that the staged one looks more like what should be considered her first appearing card, but it's not. It's the reverse. But anyway, there's two 1-of-1 parallels. I'm pretty sure there's a black finite 1-of-1 and a gold vinyl 1-of-1. And I think the black finite 1-of-1 to the later appearing one that's her in the photo shoot has been seen somewhere online. I'm pretty sure I've seen
Okay.
it.
That was a lot. I'll take the black of the earlier numbered one. That's the one I'm asking about. That has not been found.
Yeah, I don't think it has.
Dude, her cards are more expensive than like every male except like LeBron.
You would need to pay a lot of money for that card.
Like, she just continues to have humongous sales. A sale in Golden on April 26th.
Can we look at? Should we just look at?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Let's just have a look at the ludicrous Caitlin Clark sales.
Yep.
Okay, let me take down my share. Let me bring up yours.
So this one was from April 26th, 250,000 for Prism WNBA throwback sticker auto.
There's a lot going on there. So there's the throwback theme, sticker autograph. It's an insert.
Is it insane to say that the like black first appearing one, if it was the only one, would be like $1 million?
No,
but it might be $1 million anyways.
Well, one of the things I wonder about is who is advising the buyers here. Do we have a situation of kind of like new people coming into the hobby? They are connecting with auction houses, representatives of the auction houses. The auction houses are like, what more do you want? It's a Caitlin Clark autograph. It's on Prism and Select. It's a 1-of-1. It's a PSA 10.
Yeah.
And then I just wonder, would how many of these are new buyers, Josh?
Yeah.
Who don't really know that much about the hobby, and how many of them would even understand why we value the first appearing base set black 1-of-1?
Because, well, I just don't see how you can advise someone and not very quickly explain to them that Prism is just really not known for autographs, and you just generally don't want to make your autograph card come out of Prism if you're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like you should seek out the autograph from a different product, and Prism is meant to be like your shiny base card parallel, and in general. But it seems like like you said, they're like trying to fudge together all the rules of what makes a sports card expensive, and they're like, this is the best one. It's Prism, it's 1-of-1, it's autograph.
Yeah, I do think that that's in play. I like the fourth one down.
The top three are all gold vinyl sticker autos, dude.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. I believe that is her Concourse Select gold vinyl 1-of-1 rookie year card.
So she has a black version of this as well?
Yeah, black finite too. Yep. That one speaks to me though.
Yeah, it's sick. Would you pay $100,000 for it?
No.
Dude, you know how there's all these jokes online about the salaries of WNBA players relative to their NBA counterparts?
Yes.
That does not hold true for their sports card values.
No. How about that? If that like suddenly there was a marketing campaign from the WNBA Players Association, it's like our sports cards sell the same as theirs. I think we need those $50 million contracts for our best players.
But also our sports cards sell for more than our players make.
Yeah.
What's like your actual, I know this is, you don't want to answer the investor-y questions, but like, what would you actually think about these cards long-term?
I'm concerned.
Okay. You think they're poison?
Are they toxic?
Yeah. No, I mean seriously, what you're concerned that it's just like people will lose interest, or
I just think that there's a lot of speculative interest in these cards right now. And there's a lot of new energy surrounding these cards. I like to collect for the long term. I don't ever buy a card with the idea that it's going to be out of my collection in 6 months or 12 months or 2 years or whatever. And I just worry that I don't know though. Like, are any of these relists? I don't think so.
yeah. Well, this was going to be my answer. I think all of these are going to be back at auction soon.
That's the concern.
Because if you're an investor coming in and you're new, to your point, that's our theory. How quickly you're going to get bored of this? Very quickly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
why
I'll
am
be
I
honest
holding
with
the
you.
$300,000 sticker card? What even is this?
I didn't even know the WNBA season was tipping off. I'm so engrossed in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I watched Game 5 of that finals, and I was disgusted.
Sabrina is like 1 for 19.
I couldn't believe that. I just was like, this is the best teams. This is insane.
Stiff Arm Wax asks, so all these Caitlin Clarks are in the Flippers vortex.
Yeah, I'm like really sensitive to the Flippers vortex right now because the vortex is circling me on Jamar Chase cards.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally standing in the middle of a vortex, and it's so annoying. So Sabrina is Ant? No.
I'm not ready to say that these are in the Flippers vortex either. I haven't really seen them posted anywhere. I don't really know who has them.
I think that they're probably in vaults, and they're going to be relisted through the vaults in 6 months from now.
When Caitlin Clark collectors saw the list that ESPN put out, and I'm not saying any ESPN list is even close to gospel,
but it's definitely not.
Yeah, but ESPN put out a list that had Asia Wilson as the WNBA's top ranked player, and then they had Caitlin Clark at 4th.
Okay, based on expectations,
I guess just best players going into this season.
Yeah, I just don't know. I can't speak from a point of authority on this. I have no idea. Like I know she's good and exciting, but if you told me she was like the second best player already, I'd probably believe you.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that there's a gulf between Asia and everybody right now.
Sure. Who was 2 and 3?
2. I think Brianna Stewart was one of the 2. And I don't remember who the other one was. But my question is this: like, if you're a Caitlin Clark collector and you just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on one of her cards, are you worried, happy, optimistic, pessimistic that she's kind of 4th right now? Consensus.
Like, if I spent that much, why did I just spend that much on the 4th best player?
Right.
Well, I mean, 90% of the value of Caitlin Clark is just like the excitement and hype around her and her brand. Because if it were the case that we were buying into her with these prices because she's the best player, then Asia Wilson cards would be this expensive, but they're not.
Yeah, it's always the right answer. It's never just who's the best.
It's just like pure. Well, it is a lot of times. It is a lot of times in sports, and when you give it time to settle and everything.
Yeah.
Dude, look, Asia Wilson's most expensive card is. Let's do it like this. She probably spells it like that, right?
Yeah.
Her most expensive card ever is
probably Rittenhouse. Yeah.
$5,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I got dangerously close to buying an Asia Wilson card or 2.
Yeah, I know. You just couldn't find any.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not really fair because she doesn't have a select gold vinyl 1-of-1 rookie to compare to, but still.
Yeah. All right. Enough WNBA. Do you agree?
Yeah.
All right. Let me get your screen share out of here for a moment.
Yep.
And let me bring back the questions. All right. Next question we have from Jay Lee of Sports Cards Live, who very kindly welcomed us to the YouTube community live streaming. Should we be investing in Pope Leo's rookie card?
That was announced this morning.
Have you seen? Yeah, have you seen this card?
He has a card.
Okay, just stand by. Can you
Holy
just
shit!
share your reverence for Pope Leo briefly while I bring up his card?
Share my. I don't even know who the guy is. He's from Chicago. That's all I know.
He is from Chicago. This has a lot of Chicago people excited.
I'll be honest. I don't
Alright, I have the
know
card ready.
anything about the history of like the Pope, or I don't know it. I just know like the smoke came out of the thing, and we have a Pope. And people are digging up old tweets. I did see that.
The smoke for sure came out of the thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And the old tweets are coming up.
Okay. God, it's a crazy time when the Pope is getting old tweeted.
I think some people are disappointed the first screen share you had was not of a trash facility.
Come on.
Not Pope Leo, but like when the show first started.
Not Pope Leo. If
That
I
wasn't
did
a
that
wasn't a Pope Leo dig. That was
was-
just like a
that was not a Pope Leo diss. If I did that, our secret guest backstage would come charging onto the screen.
She would she wouldn't make an appearance on the third screen. She would be in your screen.
Do you want to hear the investor pump? Yeah, that's true. Suddenly there would just be this shadow. Do you want to hear the pump for this Pope Leo card?
It was made today.
Fresh off the presses.
They literally made this today. I have to like get caught up.
It has a date. It has a date. Look at the date.
That's crazy. They made that very quickly.
They did.
Okay. Well, that's the pump.
Well, first of all, first card ever to have the words Habemus Papam. First card to ever have that. In all the millions of cards ever made, the first Habemus Papam. What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
I'm Googling it.
Yeah, I would GPT that.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point. I was going to ask ChatGPT about his dirty past, but that's probably mean. She can't charge me from where you are, right?
Only digitally.
Well, I'm not worried about that.
The first American Pope. Can we get that? Can we get that pump going?
It's Latin for "we have a Pope." Like we did it.
I'm sorry, I can't. I just can't.
Here we go.
I just can't.
Here we go.
Okay, so first of all, he's not just Pope Leo; he's Pope Leo the 14th, which is like super important when you're talking about papal names, because you pick a pope name that reflects what you want to continue on. So he's picking up the mantle of Pope Leo the 13th and in his name. Okay. So first of all, he's not the first. He is the 14th. And technically he's not the first American Pope. He's the first United States Pope. But Francis was from Latin America. So Francis was the first American Pope. Thank you, Tops. Get it right.
What's your papal name?
I don't have a papal name. Girls can't be the Pope.
Oh.
Is this 2025 or 1825?
Yeah, what?
Well, actually, what's really interesting is he is an Augustine Pope. Like, he's of that order of priests.
What does that mean?
He's very...
Like a big gust of wind just blew him in?
No, Augustus. He's very left-leaning, one might say. More so than Francis, who was a Jesuit.
The new guy is?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Pope Leo the 13th was very interested and reverent, like paid reverence towards the Virgin Mary and the Holy Spirit, was anti-socialism. And he was like a pope that brought in a new age. I think he was 1892 to 19 something. forgive me, any historical scholars who are listening to this that I don't know the actual dates.
How would the Catholic community look upon the commercialization of the inauguration of Pope Leo XIV's papacy?
That's the question.
By commercializing it into a sports card.
So,
how much of these? What's the licensing fee on this that goes back to the Vatican?
I believe he is a public figure now. So they don't have to get an NIL deal for him. This is similar to them doing a Tops Now of Fauci throwing out the first pitch or something. Like, they don't need his permission to make it.
Okay.
Or like Taylor Swift getting like usurped by Kanye. Like, that's a Tops Americana card that Taylor Swift obviously did not give permission for.
Right.
So they don't need to get his permission. Now, are they paying tithes to the church, capital C, for the profit that they're making off of a holy father? I doubt it. But they should be.
They should be. They should be kicking
up. 10% of their profit should go to the church.
Yeah, that's called tithing.
Yeah.
The chat is cooking, you guys. It's cooking.
Yeah.
Does Tops tithe?
I don't know what else to say. He's Chicago. His birth name is Robert Prevost.
Right. I believe somebody pointed out in the chat his name is Bob.
I have the chat GPT up if you want to see it.
Yeah, okay, let me. Is it just dishonorable if I take this down? Okay, all right.
No.
I'm gonna let's bring. Okay, here we go. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot of content.
We've got some basic info, some criticism, some social views. Road ahead.
There is some issues with his lack of action during the sex scandals that hit the Midwest and Chicago. He was then sent down to Peru, which some people think was a demotion, but led to him becoming a bishop and a cardinal. And then obviously Pope. So, as the resident Catholic of the crossover, I can say that most Catholics, I think I saw an article that said 7 of 10 Catholics in America were happy with a more open-minded Pope taking the wheel, if you will. And I will say that it will be an interesting time of transition to see what some of his first letters are. And he did address the square in Italian and Spanish, but not in English, which I thought was interesting, that he would choose not to.
You can say it. It was rude.
It was a little rude. Like, he wouldn't even use his mother tongue to say hello. He's been in Peru for a while now. And he is considered, I think he's
How do you know all this?
Peruvian, because I've been reading about this all day today. He's like half Peruvian, half French.
How many? You bought 1,000
French,
of those.
Quarter Italian.
1,000 of those, and this is I was just joking about the pump. You really started pumping.
Well, I just you guys called me in.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you really did.
We gestured in your direction.
He said you were going to come storming into the office. No, I said, should we let this guy cook or what? And I thought ChatGPT's like, cook food? Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this was by far the most popular topic so far, so I hate to move on from it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just brought the whole chat in on the show. You guys were losing. You were bleeding viewers before I got here. And now I will remove myself so you could bleed more.
Thank you. Great job.
That's a good caption. I will remove myself so you can bleed more.
Thank you, Christina. All right. I am going to move on to another question.
I'm like dying to cook in ChatGPT.
Go, please cook. Sorry.
No, I'm waiting for the next topic to cook with.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to bring up a new visual aid for this next one.
Good.
Oh, here's what the visual aid is. This is a question from Lamim James. And here's the first part of my visual aid. The question is, what's the better buy from Lamim James? VeeFriends Nifty Narwhal Sketch 1 of 1 for $25,000. And don't worry if you don't know what that is. I'm going to show you briefly. Or the Piggy Banks Jumpman Mandalorian 1 of 1 for $100K. Okay, so this is what I'm showing on my screen share first. This card to the right is the Piggy Banks Jumpman Mandalorian OG Black Band 1 of 1, which apparently sold for $100,000.
Yeah.
So his question is, take a good look at this because I don't know if I'm going to be able to navigate.
I remember this one. I remember this card. We looked at it on the crossover.
We did.
Yeah.
All right.
And we questioned its legality.
He wants to compare that to this. The Nifty Narwhal VeeFriends Topps Chrome Sketch card, Gary Vaynerchuk Auto 1 of 1, 25K OBO.
What's the question?
What's the better buy?
Well, this one's way cheaper, so this one.
Right. This has upside, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. The other one is everything's already baked into the other price.
I can't just go, but I can't just breeze by.
Right. I got to see this gorilla one. Did you get into the gorilla thing?
Hold on. What about this one?
Okay, well,
dude, that's a Michael Rubin branded pair of undies.
Is that real?
What do you mean? Is that real? I sent him that. Those are mine.
Oh,
you want to deal with this?
Well, I asked ChatGPT to break it down.
Yeah,
and ChatGPT thinks the gorilla would just like maim everybody, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, I think he chalked it up to like the chaos of the humans just panicking.
I mean, if we don't have, speaking of guns, if we don't have our ability to use our intelligence to make a gun.
And then I asked it to say who would win in a fight, the gorilla or a grizzly bear. It said the grizzly bear, no problem. And then it was like, do you want me to give you the breakdown? And I said, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And he did. He gave me like a 6-page breakdown of the fight.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How do people keep up with this? This is just a 20 meme dump. Okay. All right. Let's move on to some more questions here. Unless you have anything else you'd like to say about the VeeFriend versus.
Nope. I know more about the Pope than I do that.
I know more about the Pope than 99% of the world after our
seriously
that guest appearance we had.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the next question here. The next question in the queue is coming from Not Fast One, who asks or declares, VeeFriends. Please talk about VeeFriends and how it's the dumbest thing since Ben Baller.
I might have to remind myself about Ben Baller.
Yeah, me too. They were like a custom themed set from Topps, roughly.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were baseball cards, though, right?
Right. Correct.
Because he's like a designer or something, right?
Sounds right. Yep. Connor wants to know, are VeeFriends on card letter? Yeah, I mean, if they sold on.
I was looking at it before the show started. Nothing crazy yet.
Nothing crazy. No, nobody hit the bin on the Nifty Narwhal.
No, the highest sale so far was very, 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 very lucky Black Cat out of 25 sold for $1,500.
Can I show it? Can I show your screen?
Yeah, I mean they just came out, so it's I'm sure more. We'll have a lot more to look at next week.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have an issue with this set. Yeah, I mean, I told you I kind of like the Disney cards. Like
Yeah, right.
It seems similar to that to me. I know that VeeFriends isn't as popular as Disney, but it's a similar genre, right? Like category of cards that people may enjoy.
Yeah, this is far away from my center of gravity in the
It's
hobby.
Topps Chrome. It's licensed.
It's licensed. That VeeFriends IP. I don't see it. We got several questions of people sort of venting frustration with it. I think one of the truest parts of the hobby experience is anytime every influencer is on board with something all at once.
Sure.
We're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that we do. That's just the way it's gonna roll. Stop cramming it down our throats.
Yeah, when it comes to me from the 18th different person on one day, it's like...
Right. And everybody just needs to understand that. Everybody needs to understand if you're a content creator who's promoting it, just have some empathy for the fact that people have seen this 100 times and they're sick of it and they're going to protest up for a little while. All right, let me move on to the next question here. Thank you for letting us look at that. Next question comes from Mike Pinkerton 50. This is a total shift in topic. What are your thoughts on the National this year?
Mike asks us this every month.
He's so excited for the National.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because he asked the question of like, is the hobby growing because of the National, etc., right? He wants to know if like the volume of people at these shows is an indication of the hobby growth.
Yeah.
So I think he's like really gearing up for this National. It's coming up soon, dude. It's like not far away.
It's May 8th, so what, about 2.5 months?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like in the heart of the summer coming up here.
Yeah, people are excited because it's back in Chicago, too. I think that's one of the reasons why Mike's excited.
Of course, you should be. You don't have to drive super far to get to the location. Remember getting in and out of that place? Oh, my gosh.
That was that first night when Christina just finally, like, urged us, just drive this back way. People found a secret way out, and we did.
Yeah, what a nightmare.
All right. Moving on.
Correction. I did not just urge you because you wouldn't listen. I had to get out and walk around the building to scout an alternative exit. And then I called you guys and I was like, get out of line. I found the way out.
I remember it were the opposite, where Chris did all that, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly how you remembered it. Welcome to my life.
One or the other. He's national curious. Yes, he is. All right. Let's get to the next question here. From Safracine 312. What are your thoughts on players signing one-of-one cards that didn't have an autograph?
Like IP aftermarket?
Yeah. And in particular, I think it matters a lot that he's talking about one-of-ones.
I think it is an absolute travesty.
Yeah.
Didn't this happen to a McCaffrey card or something? Do you know? Am I remembering this correctly? There was like a...
Yeah, his second year Kaboom Green 1/1.
Yes, thank you.
Got IP auto. Yeah.
It goes down in value for you, obviously, but like, do you go so as far to say, as some people, I would include myself in this, is that you basically like destroyed the card and removed it from the world? It's like, to me, it's the equivalent of like trimming the card.
It certainly would never be a card I would collect.
Not only that, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like that card doesn't exist anymore. It's like that one that got cut in half on live, that Nebula card. It's like that.
Well, I think it is fair to say that it doesn't exist anymore, or that it's
a different card.
It's a new card. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a piece of memorabilia now.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. I like that phrasing because that makes it clear that the card is being taken out of the domain of whatever the manufacturer put in the pack, and it's going into the domain of memorabilia.
You know how I can say that too? You send that card to PSA, they cannot grade it as the card it was initially graded, right? They're going to have to grade it as like a PSA DNA. You're like putting it in a different part of the population.
Yeah. Yeah. So
terrible.
I don't think we're breaking any ground that we're not huge fans of that, but
well, we may have a new audience, Chris. This is a YouTube world, so we might have to double down on some stuff tonight.
That's true. We need to piss off all the new people one by one again.
Sundar might be messaging us in the morning like, guys, this is crazy. I'm getting a lot of messages.
All right, from Perimeter Collectibles. Having a player sign a rare insert is viewed negatively since it has an element of defacing the card. For cards like this, is it better to have a player sign the back of the card? Or would the community still be unpleased since it's one less pack pulled insert in circulation that remains the way the manufacturer intended? So you can see why I grouped these together.
It's the same to me. Maybe like 2% better.
Yeah.
I have a question though for you.
Sure.
How much more do you value a PSA 10 one of one over a PSA 9, let's say, for starters, and then like authentic? What sort of multipliers? Just napkin math.
So this question, to be clear, is how much would I alter the amount that I'm willing to pay? Not.
Yep.
What do I think the market thinks or whatever?
Like, and that includes you internally saying to yourself, this is a PSA 10, I'm probably going to have to pay more, or the seller's going to want more. And are you willing to do that?
Okay. So I do think that it adds a little something. I think you agree with that. Is that fair?
I'm not going to say anything yet. Because I gave my answer to someone over DM, and I'll tell you after.
Okay, so let me just try to be succinct with this. Just kind of machine gun a couple of ideas. Machine gun fire them. Okay, so assuming the grade is accurate, copy of this card in PSA 10 is in a slightly better condition than in a PSA 9 or a PSA 8, and so on and so forth. I do value a card that's in great condition. I think it can only make for better eye appeal. And I do like looking at cards. So I think a little bit of eye appeal matters. I think condition can matter. So I do think that I value, even if it's a one of one, I think I value it if it's in higher condition. That's sort of like the bridge that I try to cross when I discuss this with people talking about grading. Grading is more than just a number in a piece of plastic sitting on top of a card. It's supposed to be an assessment of condition that's helping me figure out what the condition of the card is if I can't have it in hand to look at it. So if I'm trusting that the assessment is accurate, it means that the card's in slightly better condition than it would be if it were in one of the lower grades. I like my cards to be in good condition. So I do think that there is value added. However, I don't value it as much as the market does. So I think there are instances where the market is going to go nuts for PSA 10 because there are people who only click PSA 10s. Or there are people who just get really excited by the highest possible grade being given to a card, even if there's only one copy of this card in existence. So to complete this thought, I do prefer that the card not be a PSA 10, even though I like good condition, because then I can get it for cheaper, usually significantly cheaper. I almost love it in like a PSA 8 or a PSA 7 or raw condition, just so that I'm not battling with the PSA 10 fiends. Okay. What do you say?
That's why we come to you for this content. No one else would give great content like that.
Okay, let's go.
I think I said something like 25 to 30% more over the 8 or 9 on the 10, and then like 50% more over an authentic or like a 6. So I'm probably closer to the market than you on this one, but I do like your answer. That's a good way to end it.
Okay.
You prefer it. You prefer it to be mangled before it was disintegrating, just so you have a better shot at it.
Mangled is a little strong. Yeah, I don't want it like it.
PSA 6 is like a tiny nick on the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And I'm getting a PSA 6 every sub anyway. So do you remember that card that got ripped in half? I believe it's
the
Wagner.
The Wagner. Yeah.
We don't want
dog toy. It was a dog toy.
Yeah, that's the opposite problem. Do you get discouraged at all if a one of one that you're pursuing is like only a PSA 8 or something?
No. I'm okay with it. But there is like a PSA Authentic one that I've been circling me, and it's a big turnoff.
Yeah.
And I got a PSA 10 of a similar card, and I was very excited. So it just kind of like the dichotomy of those two was interesting to me. I feel like a Wagner sold recently, and nobody talked about it. Let me find it.
It did, yeah. People did talk about it a little bit.
Okay, because I saw it come through when I pulled in some sales, and I was like, "Holy, that's a Wagner."
Yeah, where did that sell? Maybe on REA
Mile
or
High. $2 million. Can
$2
you?
million.
I have it. Can you?
Yeah. Let me elevate.
The dog toy comment reminded me.
Nice.
This is interesting.
Okay.
This is interesting. It says restored.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Okay.
So that's like a qualifier?
This is new. This is new territory for me, the restored.
Oh, $2 million, dude. A Mile High. I don't know that a lot of people are covering Mile High auctions, but this sale really jumped out to me. That's a lot of money. Because it was let me pull up the industry tab. Because I think April was down a bit, but Mile High jumped into 4th place mostly because of that sale. Isn't that crazy?
It's awesome. It's an exciting sale. It continues the streak of a Wagner always selling for more than what it previously sold for.
Really?
Barely. Yeah. There's like this long streak that a Wagner has never lost anybody money or something like that. But this was like quite close, I think. Jeremy and the Sports Card Live guys talked about this last Saturday night. There was some coverage of it. Some of the articles framed it as a disappointing sale because it just barely went for more than what it had previously sold for, but still it was a $2 million sale.
So you're saying like an individual copy always goes up, not necessarily because there's been like sales higher than this one.
I think that's like nobody's ever bought a copy of it and lost money when they sold it.
Right. Oh, because look at this. Mile High sold it in 2023 and it modestly went up. I would argue that they lost money on this.
Because of fees and BP and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, taxes and whatnot.
Plus, if I'm a pre-war Wagner collector and somebody bought it in 23 and then they sold it in 25, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, totally. Like, what
did you really need to buy this card then if you're just going to sell it 2 years later?
So this card doesn't do anything for you?
That's not the one that's ripped in half. I was referring to the one that's ripped in half.
Yeah, no, just like a PSA 1.5. It's like it's authentic or whatever. It's got a number on it.
Well, I think some of the eye peel guys would say that one looks pretty good. What does it do for you?
Nothing. Just curious.
There it is.
I mean, like I can like sense. Oh no, the image is too old. Yeah. Maybe I can get on their site. Oh no. That's not good.
Yeah, okay. Well, Josh is not able to enlarge the ripped in half Wagner image right now.
It's still sold for $500,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I can sort of like sense the importance of the card, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just really, what's further from your hobby experience, your daily hobby experience, a V-Friends Topps Chrome release or a Honus Wagner?
That's a good question.
Also, I figured out the technical pronunciation is Honus Wagner.
I think because the V-Friends ends up being licensed, it's not that far away from me. This card here is like, I just don't know anything.
Yeah.
I know stuff about Topps Chrome. I know what the parallels are. I know stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I definitely respect the status that this card has. As Brendan Ryan says in the chat.
Did they spell Pittsburgh wrong?
Maybe just the H got truncated.
No, look at the bottom of the card.
There you go.
It's missing an H.
Maybe that's how it was spelled back then.
Maybe. That's how old this card is.
Okay. All right. Let me return to our questions. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny that the topics that we've been charged with so far are two that we're not necessarily in my wheelhouse.
So let me just pop in before you move on, because I did some Googling, and according to the Google, because we're sticking with Google right now, AI overview, in 1909, the city of Pittsburgh was officially spelled without an H.
There you go.
There you
You're
go.
welcome.
Now, when you say Googling, she probably meant ChatGPT. What is, because like,
or
are you reaching for ChatGPT before Google now?
Yes.
For like specific things or just always?
Always, almost. No.
Dang.
I really don't find Google's AI overview to be as good as GPT.
It's very good at coding.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I honestly can't get enough of AI. I honestly think that if I were dictator for a day, I would decree that all resources and all people that are doing anything other than providing essential life services would focus all of their effort and time and creativity and genius towards advancing AI in terms of its technological capabilities, its hardware capabilities, its software capabilities as soon as possible.
Wow. What's your take on the paperclip theory?
Say more about that.
The AI is going to turn humans into paperclips?
Just useless things, basically, right? Like we just have a very simple function.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I don't know. You just said you wanted the whole world to focus on it. I would hope that if you're making that statement, you've thought about the
implications of what it means for us.
Yeah.
So
as dictator, you can't say, "What do you think about that?" You just said it.
I do have a pretty high appetite for risk.
You could just end there. That's the best. I do have a pretty high appetite for risk.
And I do understand that there are maybe a handful of ways that this can go sideways. But the other side, the upside, the optimistic proposition is that the advances, particularly in the realms of medicine, could be almost unfathomable. The improvements to quality of life, to the length of life, and so on and so forth, and the advancement in which they could occur, the possibility of a permanent evasion of the escape velocity that health currently holds on the human lifespan. I personally think it's worth allocating all resources to see if we can get to that before we get too old.
Well, the most likely outcome for the paperclip theory is somewhat akin to like the revolution of technology taking over. Like people just adjusted, like things don't literally change overnight. You just sort of wake up and all of a sudden everybody's an influencer now, right? We kind of like gradually got to the point where we've replaced farmers with influencers, so it'll be something to that effect, I think.
Yeah.
And what person, the other thing to add on, what person would not take the AI?
What do you mean?
Yeah, the question of like, would you? The cell phones are like ruining everybody's life, right? Social media is so bad for people, yet everybody wants a cell phone and everybody has social media. So if it's so bad, why do we keep asking for more of it? If AI is going to take over and be so bad, then theoretically people would turn it away or reject it. But I think everyone's like, yeah, I want that because it's going to make my life faster, better, whatever. I'll be more productive.
Except for the Amish.
Right.
I do not want that.
Do you want nodes implanted into your brain that connects your brain via Neuralink to a supercomputer?
No.
Neuralink.
Are you fucking crazy? No.
I initially presented this idea to Christina about a year ago when I first started reading Kurzweil's book on the singularity is nearer or something like that. I only read like the first third of it, but I was so excited. And I was telling her, basically, would you, to put it into lay terms, plug your brain into a supercomputer and then it can perform computations and thoughts, orders of magnitude more efficiently than your current brain can.
Negative. No.
Negative.
Leave
She did
me
not
out of
like
that.
it.
No.
Because I said if you did do that, you and me could finally kind of see eye to eye and have a level conversation.
I mean, dude, like we're sort of going that way. Like people aren't even reading books anymore. They're just having LLMs spit out 30-minute overviews of the books. It's like you're already like consuming information faster. You just don't even know it.
Shut up. What's the point? Like, why even do that though?
People are doing it now. Like people are digesting this information so much quicker because they want things faster.
Yeah, but like the joy of reading is that like you sit down and read a book and you have like critical thoughts while you're reading it. So like that's the whole point that I don't understand about this. Like I want to have my thoughts. Like I want to come up with an idea. Like I don't want someone to tell, or some computer entity, whatever, to tell me what I should think about what someone else wrote or what they wrote. Like I want to think it, even if I end up at the same place as them. Like I want the autonomy to think about it myself.
Bob Boozle says people are asking AI how to slice bread. We are cooked. See, that is the thing. I DM'd you something about this earlier this week, Joshua. I was like, I'm really glad our generation had to learn how to think before AI.
Well, I can't remember who it was on Twitter, but they were posting clips or something of like teenagers in the 40s and 50s, and their sentence structure was like better than modern day people. So he was making the argument that people are getting dumber. And I think there's something to the effect of like the sliced bread. We're dumber. We're dumber like on our own and left without things around us to aid us, but we're better at using tools to move quicker and not like take in the information ourselves.
Right. I think that's a good way to split the baby.
Like when you're like, oh, I love this book, I have to spend like 2 weeks catching up and then coming back to you and being like, hey, here's what I thought of that book, as opposed to like Neuralink. Oh, we could talk about it right now.
But only because someone's giving you the talking points.
The person who wrote the book is giving you the talking point.
But you're not comprehending and digesting the thoughts of like, you're just repeating, like you're regurgitating instead of having thoughts about it and then being able to like sit down and have a discussion about what it could mean. Like, and this is like part of it, right? Like the author has one idea of what they mean, but each individual who reads a book can then bring their own symbolism to it and be like, well, this is what I got out of it. No one's going to have that anymore. It's all going to be like, we're fucking pod people that like just like think alike. I don't understand why this would be something that we think is an advancement of society.
But Neuralink is actually allowing you to read the book at hyperspeed. So it's the same thing. It's just that your brain is able to like input and output faster. So you can just like read faster. You don't think, because you can make the argument like humans aren't, like their brain can't handle that speed, which is the argument. But I think the theory is that you're like actually just reading it really fast.
But like, it's also like, they don't know, like, I don't necessarily believe that that's how it's going to work, because brains work differently. Like I'm very open. Like I am dyslexic. Like, so my brain works very differently and reads at a very different speed and style than other people's. So like it's taken me a very long time, but like I enjoy that about myself now. Like, right? Like I am happy with that difference because I come to discussions, whether they be about work, the hobby, or whatever, or even a book, from a very different point, and like I bring differing ideas to the table. So
I think I have the middle ground here.
What?
All right. This is an amazing discussion, but I think HB found it. HB said I would connect my brain to eBay so that I can bid on cards while I sleep. I think that's good.
Nice.
I think that solved it.
Look, y'all plug yourselves into the Matrix. I'm going to make sure I'm not plugged in.
Go up to the Put the comment that Chris had at 9:08 p.m.
Oh, sorry. That's 11:08 for me.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah.
That sums up crossover right there. I have no idea how we got here.
It's good. Okay. Thank you. Good discussion. Let's save some more AI ideas for later episodes as well. Let me move on to the next question here from Pac Nicholson. This is going to be another sharp turn. It's actually not a question, but a public service announcement. Shouting emoji. It's apostrophe 90s, not 90 apostrophe S. Thanks.
Is he correcting you or me?
Very well could be both of us.
I feel like it could be the hobby.
Could be the hobby, the Nationals, the Hobbsy.
The Hobbsy.
90s, not 90. But what if? See, I don't feel attacked right now because I actually prefer to not use the apostrophe at all. I prefer 90S.
Got it.
Yeah.
I heard that the 90s is making a comeback culturally with the younger generations.
How so? Like,
I don't know. I
wearing tie-dye shirts. Oh, okay.
Sure. Or like the baggy pants, or I don't know.
People are dressing up as Bill Clinton for Halloween.
You better move on before I.
Let's go on to Bleecker Street cards. What is Kobe's best non-autograph, non-patch card?
I think his best non-autograph, non-patch card is his best card. Anyways, you don't need that qualifier.
Nice. Good.
His most, you can show my screen if you'd like. The most expensive sale ever is a non-autograph, It's a private sale, but we still have it.
The PMG Grizzly.
I think a lot of people would say this one. I personally think it's the 98 PMG Gem Master, which I believe is still with Spinatron.
Yeah, that's a card that's so sick it's pissing me off.
This one?
No.
The PMG Gem Master.
The Gem Master.
Yeah. This dude, for those keeping score at home, we're now displaying Kobe Bryant cards and Jason Tatum cards. So we're in the Matrix.
This is our olive branch to our new community.
That's a good question. Are you still gonna upload this as a podcast? Because if you are in only audio format, you should be talking about what you're showing on the screen.
I tried.
Got it. Green Thank PMG you. Kobe Bryant.
Beautiful.
$2 million sale.
Yeah. So the asker of this question is Bleecker Street Cards. He messaged me earlier this week without telling me that it was Kobe that he was asking about, and he just asked me, he said, what's Michael Jordan's best 90s card? He goes, is it one of those 6 Playing Days 1-of-1s? Or I guess 7. And I said, well, let me break each one down for you quickly because each one has a flaw, sometimes several flaws. So first up, you have the 1997-98 Ultra Masterpiece 1-of-1 for Jordan. There's actually 2. There's a 98 grade subset, and then there's a main base set one. The issue that I have with that card is that there was no design elements that was made unique for that particular card with respect to comparing it to the Platinum Medallion. So if I put the Jordan Masterpiece 97 Ultra on a table and I put his Platinum Medallion counterpart right next to it, you would not be able to tell me the difference if you were looking at that on a table. So that's but the pro of that card is that some people believe, and I think there's evidence to support the idea that the 97 Ultra Masterpiece 1-of-1 is the first 90s 1-of-1 for guys like Jordan and Kobe. But it has the flaw that I mentioned. Then we can move on to the Gem Masters. The Gem Masters is gorgeous. Josh right now is showing on the screen the Kobe 1998 Gem Masters 1-of-1 from Spinatron's collection. It's ridiculous. Absolutely beautiful card. In my view, probably the most beautiful card. The issue with that card for Jordan is that Michael Jordan retired in January of 1999, so he did not play during the 1998-99 season. There's a big discussion about what you consider to be Michael Jordan's playing days and whether or not you consider that to be different than his playing years. Does his playing years go from 84 to 2003? Do you make exceptions for brief intermittent retirements that didn't sustain? But for Michael Jordan, there's just something of an asterisk on that card. For Kobe, there's really not. And then finally, the Flair Masterpiece 1-of-1s. There's 4 of them, row 0 through row 3. Those are absolutely beautiful cards. The problem is just that there's 4 of them. And so some people find that that's a little bit confusing or dilutes the appeal of any one in particular, because they all have the same card number. You can't say that one came before the other in the set. They all have the same card number. So they're all just kind of 4 equal. You could say the manufacturer intended one of the rows to be rarer than the others, but anyway, there's like it's tricky trying to figure out what the best 90s 1/1 is for a player, and that's sort of what he was trying to get at. What do you say, Josh? Are you firmly in the camp that this is it?
Yeah, I think this is. Yeah. I think this is Kobe's best single card.
Okay,
right here, this one. It's not a rookie card, but it's firmly in the playing days, obviously, for Kobe.
Yeah, I think that's as good of an answer as any. Where do you put a card like his first Prism Black, which would be 2013?
I don't know. I'm big on. My big thing on this topic is players belonging to like a specific era of cards, or like associating the era of cards with a player. For example, LeBron, Exquisite, Jordan, Kobe, 90s, Prism, Curry, Giannis. So that's why I would probably rank that Kobe versus Prism Black, the 2013, quite a bit lower than a bunch of these other cards.
What about something like his 2004 Topps Chrome Super? I believe that's his first Super Fractor 1/1.
It's high up there, dude.
But maybe not. But maybe still the 90s is more his era.
Yeah, I'd probably say this one, then the Chrome, then the Prism Black. But see, I would put the green PMG and like his lower numbered credentials above both of those 1/1s.
Okay, that's strong. That's a strong ranking because you comfortably have the PMG green or the lower number credentials beneath the Gem Master.
Oh yeah, it's a 1/1.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, I know a lot of people like this one lately because this and the MJ have sold. So like, there's some buzz around this specific card. Not for me personally, but there's some excitement around this type of stuff.
Yeah, you're showing the Ultimate Collection from 2003, Logo Man Autograph 1/1.
Yeah, the MJ sold, the Kobe sold, both fairly recently, and then this one, which is the 2002 NBA Logo Mania. But I think there's 2 of these.
Yeah, I think there's 3.
There's 3, okay.
Or at least for Jordan, there's 3.
Yeah, but here, this one sold a few months ago. This is the Kobe credentials now out of 8.
Looking at these cards gets me very excited.
Because you'll notice a lot of these sales are from 2021. So when they're 2021, 2022. So when they're recent, they really stand out.
Yeah.
Because Kobe's index has taken a beating.
Yeah. Doing pretty well recently, though.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me bring us on to the next question, if that's okay with you.
Yep.
Next question is from 90s B-Ball Cards. What are your pet peeves when buying cards on eBay? Can I just ask you, did we answer this last week or did we not get to it?
We didn't get to it.
Okay. What are your pet peeves when buying cards on eBay?
Like things that annoy me or something that the seller does, or maybe?
Absolutely.
I don't know. PSA authentication. That's currently on my.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a thorn in your side until that card comes in.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is just when somebody has a card that I really want and they're holding it hostage and they want an unrealistic price and nobody would pay that price except for maybe somebody as stupid as me. And I just have to constantly fight myself to not overpay grossly for something that somebody else is holding hostage when nobody else is going to pay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one. Yes,
please.
When there's only one picture of the front of the card and there's no picture of the back, and like the or the picture just like the pictures just suck. Like, and it's just like, I want to actually see the card. I don't want to see your hand. I don't want to see like your foot in it because you're holding it like over your feet. Like, I just put it on the table and take like 5 pictures, flip it over, take 2 pictures, and then post those 7. Like, what are we doing here?
Yep, that reminds. Oh, she's gone. All right, that's good. That reminds me of one that bothers me quite a bit too, which is this is more for card ladder purposes than my purposes as a collector. But when we have a sale come in of a card and the first picture, which is the main one that we import into card ladder, is its like main picture, and it's like the back of the card. That just pisses me off. Put the first picture should be the front of the card. I know it's nobody is intentionally doing that. It's just a mistake, but I don't like it. Any
also,
yes,
the first picture, if it's graded, show the entire slab. Like, don't zoom in on just the card. Because that annoys me. If I'm like approving the card, I have to like go and find the picture of the whole thing to make sure that that's actually a 9 and not like an 8.
You look like you just encountered one of those because I know you're looking at sales right now.
I actually did. So this was pretty good timing.
Yeah. What else, Josh? Come on. This is all we got. I can't really come up with anything else. So it'll hit me when I'm browsing later tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking through one of my save searches.
Yeah.
I hate, I know. Starting an auction that doesn't start at 99 cents drives me bananas. Just start at 99 cents. It will go for more. Trust me.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't come through some of my save searches because it'll be like a starting price that's higher than what its last market sale was. So it has 0 bids. And I like to filter by things that have at least 1 bid, and it just like sometimes falls through the cracks. It's worse. Don't do it.
Okay, I got one. I hate AI item descriptions.
Really?
Yes.
They're bad. It's like, oh, this Topps Chrome. Topps is a company that made cards and the
Exactly. I know it as soon as I see it. It turns me off to the item as soon as I see that they use an AI item description. I actually just pulled up a card, looked at the description, noticed that it's not an AI item description. I think they just copied and pasted the title. And I even prefer that. Prefer that.
How much longer do you think we have until AI figures out cards and pricing and everything automated? Because they're way off right now.
The magic in AI comes from the data set that it's trained on and the pre-existing human corpus of knowledge that is able to provide it with a logical structure to synthesize it.
So never. It's so bad. Yeah.
That's sort of the trick to AI that is what's going on underneath the hood when it's using statistics to calculate the probability of certain words and clusters of letters appearing next to each other in order to be able to make reasonable predictions. That's why it thrives. Like I was using it to teach me some concepts and statistics about a month ago. It was doing amazing. It was better than a textbook. It was like having a textbook that I can ask questions to and it can answer it.
And coding, it's like a professional because coding it compiles. It has to be a certain way.
Exactly. But when it doesn't have this big extensive data set of textbooks and research papers and people who have really thought carefully about how to structure it, like, is there even one book? And AI would need dozens, but is there even one book that properly explains pricing, price history, market behavior in the hobby? No. So it doesn't even begin to have the tools it would need. But if you did want to feed the content into AI that could help it eventually get there, we would need to feed it lots of content material, in the book form, in a textbook form that could help it figure out what to do. So, okay. Any other eBay complaints?
Nope.
Moving on. From Collectomaniac, the gutted feeling of buying a PSA 10 only to get it and your 9 is better, the 9 that you already have. The thought of originally keeping the 10 and selling the 9, but now I either keep both or I send in the 10 for a reholder. And I almost weirdly don't mind if it gets a 9, so then I have the best card on the pop since the 10 was a pop 1 and now only 9s exist. This is a very specific example.
So the 9 visually looks better than the 10? That's what he's saying?
Yeah, he's saying he already had a 9. He wanted to upgrade it to a 10. He bought the 10. The 10 doesn't look as good as the 9. Now he wants to send the 10 into PSA, hope it gets graded down to a 9 so there are no more 10s so that his pre-existing 9 is now the best card in the pop.
I'm such a grade snob that I'm like, I don't care. I just want the 10.
Does that make you cringe a little bit? Just being like, damn, you're just gonna take your 10 away. You're just gonna delete this 10 because you like the way your pre-existing 9 looks better.
I just like, I know people get really emotional about this topic about how I'm supposed to like the one that looks better or whatever.
Oh, let's cook on this for a minute.
I just want the 10. I just don't care that much about like, oh, this one has like a little tiny bit better centering or whatever.
There is something magical about this card in this day got this grade, and you don't know if anybody's ever going to be able to get it again. Yeah,
exactly.
I like that Zag.
It's Zag. It's definitely not popular.
Yeah. All right, next up from Pinwheel Cards. I recently acquired a card that I'd consider the cornerstone of my collection.
Nice.
Can one have more than a single cornerstone in one's collection?
Yeah.
How many do you have?
Well, this is like the topic cornerstone.
Yeah, we need to start with what does that mean?
Don't you need 4?
That's good.
That is good. What about like the topic of the Grail or whatever? How the Grail is supposed to be one card, but then that goalpost kind of moves, and like how many Grails do you have? And the term has been used by even us to say like how many we have multiple Grails. This is kind of a similar question.
Do you conceive of your collection as having cornerstones?
Yeah, multiple.
Do you prefer a collection that has a few cornerstones, or a collection that has no cornerstones, but it's all the cards are on the same plane, on the same level?
I like the hierarchy, but there is a card that would be the actual cornerstone of my collection, but I don't have it. So there is still like the Grail concept is a moving target where I have Grails in my collection, but like the actual best card that I could get, still I do not have it.
Okay. If you do get that card, does that delete the cornerstone status of the other cards that currently are cornerstones?
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
It's the same for you, right, MJ? There's the MJs?
Yeah. Yeah, so like what I consider to be the top card of my MJ collection, I think that's basically how I'm taking the meaning of cornerstone. It's the cornerstone of my collection is like the best card, but I have like 6 or 7 different player collections. So the best card for each player collection is like a different cornerstone. And then sometimes for a player, there's a few cards that are equally the best card for that collection. So then that particular portion of the collection has multiple cornerstones. But if a better card than all those cards come in, it immediately becomes the cornerstone or the foundation, if you will.
Would you trade your Jokic Black for the cornerstone MJ, and that was the only way you could get it?
Yeah, I don't even like to think about that.
Because it kind of puts you in the box of, would you actually give up everything to get a higher ranking cornerstone card?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even like to think about that.
I would trade my whole LeBron PC for the one card I'm talking about.
There is a slight difference there, which is that's player for player. That stays with the same player.
True. Yeah, that's why that Jokic for MJ question is tough.
That's what makes it extra tough, yeah.
Because if you didn't have the Jokic Black and you had a bunch of other stuff, would you trade all of those for the Jokic Black rookie?
Right. I would.
Yeah, see, that's an easier question. You're right.
Yep, I would. All right, let's move on. From Kobe Fan Club 91. Why are you laughing?
Read the question after you just named the guy's account.
Is the 90s Jordan market due for a correction?
He wants MJ to get the correction that his guy already had.
I don't know. I mean, I almost take a question like this and I say, if you're asking, then there's already some reason to believe that it probably is. And if you believe it, other people probably believe it too. And if other people believe it, then it can easily manifest because market sentiment is largely opinion driven, not always rational. However, you need to inspect yourself and your credibility as a question asker. Are you asking because you genuinely perceive it that way, or do you have other reasons that are causing you to see it that way? But that really might not be the correct way to see it.
I'm on high alert from Kobe stands right now. That's
right now or always?
More specifically in the last month because LeBron was knocked out of the playoffs again, and they start circling. And it's usually Tatum fans, so I'm like, oh, look in a mirror, buddy.
There's a Venn diagram.
LeBron is 40, and Tatum's in the prime of his career, playing like a total bum.
How confident are you that the Celtics are going to get knocked?
I think they're going to win the series.
Oh, yeah.
Celtics team is really good. Like, they get good shots. Like, their whole team, their offense is well spaced. Everybody that's on the floor is good.
Yeah, and I've been force fed by my content creators in the NBA that Jaylen Brown is terrible this year and Tatum's awesome, and just like they're setting the stage for you guys cannot give Jaylen Brown any more MVP awards as long as Tatum's on the team, because Jaylen Brown's probably going to be the guy that gets traded away from Boston.
Let me put it to you this way: if Luka and LeBron swapped places with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they would go 16-0 in the playoffs. The Celtics, others are the best 3 to 10 in the NBA. Dude, Derek White is good. Drew Holiday is good. Porzingis is good. Horford's good.
Help me figure something out. I completely agree, by the way. Help me figure something out.
16-0? Come on, there's no way.
Help me figure something out, please. I hate it when any of my favorite podcasters even gesture in the direction of saying anything other than my favorite players and my favorite team are going to win every game. It and win every award. It pisses me off to the point where, like, I'm ready to type a YouTube comment in. However, despite knowing that that's how I work as a fan, despite knowing that's probably how other people work as fans, and I give comments on teams and players all the time, and I know that I'm just going to piss off everybody in the same way that other content creators piss me off, I still do it anyway.
Yeah.
I just want people to know that I know.
You're a human. You're not an AI. You're emotional.
And I like to banter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
It is fun.
Dude, Tatum was terrible yesterday. Terrible.
You didn't like that last play?
He was terrible the whole game. I was like, what am I watching? This guy sucks. The only thing worse is watching Anthony Edwards smoke 6 layups every game.
Only 6?
I think he finished with 4.
I'm highlighting this comment from Cage because he put out an episode that was brilliant a few months ago when Jay Daniels was making his playoff run. Cage says, I've never pissed off anyone ever. Cage starts this podcast episode. It was back when we were living in Dallas. I'm taking a walk. I put on the Cage episode. I start listening to it. He starts rattling off this narrative and these stats on this really exciting player. And it sounds like he's describing Jaden Daniels, and then he's describing Dak Prescott. And he tells you after 5 minutes, like, you guys all thought that was Jaden Daniels. This is describing exactly what Jaden Daniels was doing. Actually, it's Dak Prescott. I just thought it was so good.
Like that season, or like a previous?
Like when Dak Prescott was like
cooking
on fire. Yeah.
Yeah, MVP level.
Exactly. And yeah. There's something pleasant for the content creator, even though we know that it pisses people off, in zagging against something.
Well, but here's the problem with all of that. It's going to happen to Anthony Edwards. They're going to turn on him. He's going to turn into Dak Prescott eventually. He's going to go through 4 or 5 years in a row of like coming up short. You know, he's going to like throw a tantrum, and they're going to start saying that, that's getting in the way of his winning. Or they're going to take all of his positives now where he's like a killer and all this stuff, and they're going to turn it into a negative. The media always does this, and they're going to move on. They did it to Ja Morant. They do it to Zion. They're going to do it to everybody. They're just going to move on and move to the next youngest guy, put all the pressure on him to be the next Jordan, and then he'll fall short and they'll do it again.
Yep. Nothing to add to that. Okay. Let me move on to this question from Andrew Kesey. What's the best basketball card that Panini could make while they're on their way out of the hobby and get all of our respect? And then he gives his own answer to his own question, which is the Noir sneaker spotlight of Nikola Jokic wearing his Air Peppa Pigs.
I did see the shoes. That's sick. Someone posted, I think it was South. It was like, where is South?
Of course it was South, yeah.
Well, he was like, "You're getting cooked by this guy scoring 44 and 15 or whatever, and he's wearing Peppa Pig shoes."
It's good.
I would actually really like that card.
Yeah, it's good. I don't think that might be the right answer to this question.
Yeah.
But it is fun to think about, if you were Panini, what would you cram down the market's throat as you're on your way out?
Pause.
I would just do my job and print the cards that everyone's waiting for.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's
like my answer is like the Prism Black LeBron. It's something boring.
The Prism Black Cooper Flag. That's going to be super interesting if they're able to squeeze out some Cooper Flag rookie products before October.
I think that's South pointed this out last week. I think it's going to be the Topps Chrome Steph Curry Superfractor. It's going to be something like that. That'll be the Panini Cooper Flag.
Yep.
Where like they do it early enough where it counts, but like he's not wearing the pro jersey,
Yeah. Okay. We have gone for over 90 minutes. How are you feeling?
How many questions we got left?
We have left about 8 or 9.
Can't we just shove those into ChatGPT and tell it how would we answer these questions?
Yeah, so a few of these were like card letter specific questions, like one good one from TJ, good one from Board.
What's Publius want?
Publius wants to know this. Hypothetically, a couple decades from now, you are retired and your PC has gone platinum, whatever that means. You have a girlfriend. She's 24 years old. From the outside, it appears like your cognitive skills have declined a bit.
Pause. We're done.
Now,
I'm killing this question for both of you.
Why?
I'm killing this question.
Do you understand what he's getting at with this question?
I don't have Neuralink. I haven't read it yet. Hold on.
Okay, let me just this question is... Okay, good. She's gone. All right. We have to squeeze this in before she comes back. From the outside, it appears like your cognitive skills have declined a bit, and she's now managing your PC. She's posting your grails for sale on Instagram Reels and making questionable bids and purchases on your eBay account. At what point do your hobby friends have a duty to perform a wellness check or begin questioning POA over your PC? Okay, so we all understand that this is referring to Bill Belichick. Good.
Yeah, because she's like making him go on interviews and like controlling him and stuff.
That is a narrative.
Oh, I thought that was a fact.
I don't know if it's a fact. I read Belichick like put out a big statement when he was getting criticized because like some show that interviewed him showed her like cutting in to say like, nope, not answering that question. And it just seemed like, oh, they're hiding the fact that like he picked her up and she's an escort, or like there's all these weird intimations. But really, Belichick clarified, no, she's just wearing a different hat. She also works as my publicist, and she was stepping in to stop them from asking questions as my publicist, not as my girlfriend.
Well,
so
people have pointed out that Belichick was very ruthless in his player personnel assessments, where he would take into account the players' like drama and like really study their past, and he wouldn't pull them into the fold. So shouldn't he do that to himself?
Shouldn't he have more shame?
Fire himself. Yeah, he should fire himself as North Carolina head coach because of all the drama he's bringing in.
Either that or he's just a big hypocrite.
Exactly. He's a hypocrite.
Okay. All right. I get behind that.
Okay, this question is ridiculous. So I would definitely be like, Chris, please call me out. Or what's that called when you your friends are waiting for you?
An intervention?
Intervention, thank you.
Yeah. All right. I think we're gonna call it here. Let's pick a title. Let's see if I can.
You missed my favorite comment though Nick missed my favorite one. You said something like I have a strong appetite for risk, or what did you say?
Oh. I have a high tolerance for risk, maybe?
It was funnier than that. You like, I have a really high tolerance for risk. You like really emphasized it.
Okay, well, I don't know if we'll be able to recreate that magic, but I have 8 others.
You set yourself up as dictator, and you're like, I really want this risk right now.
Nobody even like offered me to set myself up as dictator. I just took the initiative.
I just really enjoyed that whole bit. I thought that was clever. And then I asked you a follow-up, and you're like, I have no idea.
It was dictatorial of me to set myself up as a dictator.
I think you are the fascist, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're just figuring out what type. Technocrats. All right.
Once I don't like you, I just call you a fascist.
It works. Let's pick a title. First up. Oh, I can put these on the screen too. Can we get back to the crappy phone audio?
Dude, this is like we're peaking right now as humans. Like we're live showing the captions. We're going over. This is it. We can't do any better.
No, this is so good.
So is this the last show? Because we're like retiring on
It
top.
might be. It might be.
We always have to threaten that.
We do. We can all enjoy a total implosion. This is a show of fairness.
No, it's not.
Fudge together all the rules.
That was like the sticker auto and the prism and the
Habemus Papum.
That was when I just got lost.
But Christina jumped in. Dictator for a day. Except for the Amish. And finally, dressing up as Bill Clinton for Halloween.
So don't we have to pay our respects to Sundar tonight in the form of a caption?
Yeah.
Somehow?
How do you? I don't know. I don't have any for that.
Dictator for a day.
Dictator for a day. Maybe Sundar can think that's a shot at him.
We don't want that. Or do we want that?
We do want that.
We do want that. Okay. We're sending warning shots, or
we stepped to the negotiating table with random acts of violence.
So we're like a potential threat to leave
immediately.
Right.
How are we not picking we can all enjoy a total implosion?
You like that one?
What was the context of that one?
I don't know, but it fits this show very well.
Why? This is a total explosion. I think we're going with Dictator for a day. I just think that was a moment.
What's your emoji?
I don't know, maybe like a military guy.
The salute.
The salute. All right. Thanks, guys. This worked out pretty well. Not sure if we'll do it again.
This was terrible.
Yeah, actually, this was awful.
I just want to hear the audio. I want the first comment on YouTube to not be your audio sucks.
It'll be something else sucks now.
It'll be
Guys, the headphones look really dumb.
Yeah, look, people are complaining about my remodel office. Too bad.
That's a fake background that he loaded in.
We have to keep the show feeling like it's not too big for itself. You know what I mean? We can't just like go to YouTube, spice up the mic, and then, all of a sudden we're Hollywood or something. No. Come on.
These mics alone are already increasing the quality tenfold.
Yeah, it's too much. We need to like make ourselves look dumber in other areas.
Correct. Which we are experts in. All right, that's going to do it. See you guys maybe next time, maybe not.